Well, we are 6 days into a 7-day cruise, and tonight was formal night down in the dining room. They served lobster, which is one of my favorites, so that was really nice. And as I looked around at all the beautiful people and all the lovely tuxedos and formal gowns and the children in their finest holiday wear, I started thinking about the American dream. And I started thinking about the fact that really a cruise like this is evidence of the American dream being alive and well, because I'm sure for a lot of these families, as for our family, there's been a lot of hard work and inspiration plus perspiration that brings us to the place where we can afford to have such a wonderful experience as coming on a cruise like this. So it occurred to me that this might be a wonderful time to do a little micro training about my favorite novel and about the theme of that novel, which actually comes up again and again in the canon of world literature, but particularly in American literature, which has to do with the idea of dreams and what happens to dreams. In fact, Langston Hughes has a wonderful poem about what happens to a dream deferred. Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or does it explode? You know, this idea that when we have dreams, we want to pursue them. Well, my favorite novel is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. And you can imagine, as an English teacher, I get asked that question quite often. What's your favorite book, Misty? Well, I always say it's not a book. A book is just an object. Use the correct part of type of literature, please. This is a novel, not a short story. It's not a play, not a collection of prose. It's a novel. My favorite novel is The Great Gatsby. And one of the reasons that I love it so much is that it deals with this issue of the American dream. And what happens to a character who I find very, very touching, this character of James Jay Gatsby, who really, against all odds, fights his way towards something that he believes is true, which is this ideal love that he holds in his heart for years and years for Daisy Fay, who ends up, of course, marrying sort of this horrible, imperious fellow, Tom Buchanan, and who nonetheless becomes sort of his guiding motivation in his life as he makes the choices he makes to pursue his American dream. And what I think Fitzgerald captured so beautifully in that novel is sort of the almost madness of someone who is driven by something beyond what really can even be said to make sense. His love for her transcends what would even be thought of as the typical love a person could have for another person, but it's because she's magnified by the fact that he's not able to have her in his life, and primarily it's because of their difference in social class. Of course, his background was that he didn't have money, so as he climbs his way up the ladder and he ends up in this sort of nouveau riche society, we look at East Egg and West Egg and the old money and the new money, and the way Daisy Fay, now Daisy Buchanan, lives where there's actually a green light at the end of the dock that blinks. And I just love Fitzgerald's use of symbolism with colors, the colors of the shirts in the scene where she is just, you know, they're tossing these shirts around, and this idea of abundance and playfulness, and yet there's always something a little off and a little sinister about that abundance, because what's driving Gatsby is disturbing. And I think what drives a lot of the American dream is disturbing. Of course, here we are on a Disney cruise, so, you know, you don't think of things being disturbing on a Disney cruise per se. There's always an antagonist in all the stories that Disney has, however. I wonder sometimes if the American dream itself isn't the antagonist in certain stories. We're sort of weaned on this idea of we should all have a dream and we should pursue that dream. And, you know, there's even a pillow here. Let me show you something. I'm in my stateroom right now. Take a look at the pillow they put on our beds. Look, they came in and they put chocolates. Wasn't that nice? Here's the pillow. A dream is a wish your heart makes when you're fast asleep. Well, That's adorable. Oh, and by the way, this was hanging in here when I came in. They make the towels look like animals every night. It's pretty funny. I love that. Is having a dream, like the American dream, something that is attainable? Is there a there there? Very, very loud noises. What could it be? I have no idea. Maybe Walt Disney doesn't like me talking about the American dream and his ghost is in the boat. I don't know what just happened. I love dreaming, and I've been a dreamer my whole life. Many years ago, in my early 20s, I was an actress on soap operas, and my accountant said to me, you have to form an incorporated, status, to be able to help with your taxes. And I said, okay, well, I have to name it, so name it New York Dreamer. And that was my name of my corporation. I mean, how corny is that? I was like 21. I was on, ABC doing my acting thing. So I've been a dreamer for a long time. But back to F. Scott Fitzgerald and back to the American dream, if you think about the canon of American literature, the American dream doesn't generally go very well. I am also thinking about Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman, another tragic character, Willy Loman, who pursues the American dream. And it doesn't work out very well for either him or Mr. Gatsby. Both of them are wonderful, wonderful pieces of literature. But I find them as cautionary tales. And I find that students who have written essays over the years about both of these characters and both of these texts often fall into sort of the easy thing, which is to say, oh, the American dream is a positive thing and they fell short because of their tragic flaws. And that might be true, but I think it's interesting to ponder, this bill of goods, that there's this thing called the American dream and we're all supposed to be trying to get there. And my experience, because I've had some success in my life, honestly, I mean, I haven't had a crazy amount of success, but I've had some. There's no there. I kind of hate to burst anybody's bubble. There's only here. There's only now. Yes, we should aspire. Yes, certainly we should work hard. Yes, we should all apply ourselves. But the American dream is an idea. It's not tangible. Food for thought.